The flow state, what Zen Buddhism refers to as samadhi, can be cultivated through mindful meditation. But can it be achieved through modern technology? Can we use machines to manipulate our brainwaves and enter this state? Neuroscientists have discovered that whether it's artists, athletes, or Zen monks, their brains show similar patterns when they're in a state of flow. Reduced activity in the prefrontal cortex, the area responsible for rational thought, and increased activity in regions linked to intuition and unconscious processes. The result is a sense of ease, effortlessness, and fluidity. From a neuroscientific perspective, one way to support the flow state is to quiet certain mental functions, essentially, to turn down the volume of the thinking mind. With this understanding, scientists attempted to induce flow using neurofeedback. Participants were connected to electrodes and heart monitors. They learned to control their breathing while observing brainwave feedback on a screen, training themselves to consciously produce the alpha waves commonly associated with flow. But the results were disappointing. As soon as participants had the thought, "I'm in flow now," their attention fractured and the state vanished. The experiment failed because it revealed a deep paradox. Trying to grasp flow is the very thing that causes it to disappear. From a Zen perspective, the participants fell into three classic traps: attachment to the self, attachment to the final goal, known in Zen as attachment to cause and effect, and attachment to the present moment. These are precisely the forms of clinging that Zen practice teaches us to transcend. This is known as the paradox of flow. As Mihaly Csikszentmihalyi, the founder of flow theory, wrote in his book, Flow, The Psychology of Optimal Experience, one cannot force oneself to enter flow. The very act of trying to achieve it can prevent it. The hallmark of flow is a sense of effortless action. It's so enjoyable that people will do it even at great cost, for the sheer sake of doing it. But as soon as one becomes self-aware of being in flow, the experience tends to dissolve. So the core insight from this failed experiment is aligned with Zen. The moment flow becomes a goal, it slips away. As soon as one forms the thought, "I have achieved flow," the ego reappears and the mind becomes entangled. The practitioner has not entered the Zen state of samadhi, where the mind abides nowhere and clings to nothing. Modern interpretations of Zen in the West often misrepresent the concept of the now, or the deep present. In truth, Zen warns of attachment to the present moment itself. As the Diamond Sutra says, the present mind cannot be grasped. In the neurofeedback experiment, the moment a participant tried to capture the now and said, "This is the flow," it disappeared. Because that very act of mental labeling is an attachment, an arising of self and concept. What remains is no longer the real present, but a mental construct, and that destroys the natural state of samadhi. True Zen presence does not mean fixating on a particular moment or achieving a specific state of mind. It means letting go of past regrets and future anxieties, releasing all clinging, judgment, and conceptual grasping. Then this very moment becomes a gateway to awakening. But the present moment in Zen is not a fixed point in time. It's not a feeling or a mental state. It is a state beyond time, beyond thought, a pure field of awareness with no mental constructs, no duality, and no fixation. This is precisely what the neurofeedback experiment unintentionally demonstrated. As soon as we try to define or hold on to the now, it vanishes. Zen uses the word now as a symbolic placeholder, not a literal timestamp. It's a skillful means to point beyond time-bound thinking, a linguistic tool used to express the inexpressible. In fact, one of the central teachings of Zen is that true wisdom transcends the limits of language and logic. As Master Rinzai once said, "Let go completely and then let go of the idea of letting go." In the film Point Break, Bodhi leaps from a cliff into a waterfall, an act of ultimate surrender to nature. In Zen meditation, the same leap happens inward, a single thought released, and the mind falls freely into the groundless, anchorless realm of non-abiding. This is flow. This is samadhi, a mind with no clinging, no concepts, no dualities, free to move like water and still like the void.